let's get back to your questions. Let's take one from Zach from Buffalo. See, Cowboy fans are everywhere. Zach asks, why are the Cowboys sitting on their hands and doing nothing to strengthen the team? That is a great question. I'm assuming from a Cowboy fan in Buffalo, Zach. That's a mind-blowing question, Zach. That's a soul-crushing question, Zach, that I do have an answer for. It's simply because my Cowboys, I'm a lifelong diehard, my Cowboys currently get to play in the NFC and especially in the NFC East. That's why Jerry Jones feels zero urgency, zero pressure, zero heat to fire himself as he approaches 80 years of age and hire a real GM. These are the quarterbacks that Jerry Jones is quote unquote scared of in the NFC East as we speak. These are the ones who stand between Jerry Jones and yet another home playoff game by winning the East. Carson Wentz, as I call him, W-I-N-C-E, now in Washington. Wentz. I wince every time I watch him drop back. Daniel Jones. You Giants fans know and love him, or maybe not so much. And a young man I do really like in Jalen Hurts. But trust me, Jerry Jones is not afraid of Jalen Hurts or the Philadelphia Eagles. I still think the Eagles are the biggest threat to my Cowboys next year. I'm starting to lean toward picking the Eagles to win the East next year. Maybe just to turn up some heat on Jerry. But Jerry, as we speak, is sitting on an asbestos throne. He's got it made. He's living large as he approaches 80 years of age. He owns the most valuable team in the world. He owns the #1 TV draw, certainly in the United States of America, in the National Football League. And he knows that every time he opens his doors at Jerry World, that about 100,000 people are going to cram in there to watch his Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East. So why would Jerry panic? What desperation? There's none. Jerry made one huge mistake that he hasn't had to pay for. He gave Dak Prescott way too much money, $75 million in the first year, because he got backed into a corner and he didn't have the guts to get out of that corner by saying no to Dak Prescott. I kept saying, well, just sign Brady. Brady's out there. Maybe Brady would have laughed at Jerry Jones. But I'll take Brady over Dak for 2 years. If you got to let Dak go draft a quarterback. Or you can't dramatically overpay a 4th-round pick and hoping to play like the 4th overall pick. He's just not. He's pretty good. But you saw what happened down the stretch. Last 11 games, my Cowboys went 6-5, and Dak stunk and stunk and stunk again, and stunk in a home playoff game against the 49ers. So my Cowboys are cap-strapped because they're Dak-strapped. And that they can justify nickel and diming in free agency and waiting for the bargain basement to open up. Jerry can justify going El Paso, as he said the other day, on Randy Gregory, as in, I pass. As in, he says he told Randy and his agent, you want to include that clause? It's a clause that protects guaranteed money. It's a clause Jerry has never enforced one time in every other Dallas contract that's had it in, and all of them do except for Dak's. Never enforced it one time, but he insisted on having it in Randy Gregory's contract. And that was the reason, the money was equal, that Randy Gregory, difference maker, went to Denver. He's a Denver Bronco because Jerry said, no, I'm going to stand by what I believe. I believe in this clause in this baloney you do. You just don't have any pressure. There's no desperation. there's no need to compete. What if, Jerry, what if you competed in the AFC West, where Randy Gregory is now a Bronco? What if you had to compete against Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr? What if? Would that relight your fire? You better believe it would. Jerry, what are you doing? Difference makers. Jerry, how did you win your Super Bowls? You plunged. You went out and got Charles Haley, difference maker. 1992, I was there. Jerry, you won your third Super Bowl because you plunged and you quote unquote overpaid for a difference maker. Neon Deion Sanders. I was there. And you won it all in 1995, sort of in spite of yourselves, because you just had way more talent than anybody else did. Certainly the Steelers, who opposed you in the Super Bowl. You got to plunge, Jerry. So I sit on Undisputed every day. I beat the table. Jerry, wake up. You got to do something. You know what Jerry's answer is? I don't need to do anything. I'm going to have a home playoff game next year. And he probably will. And they'll certainly lose it. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.